and it can be very emotional for people. Um, and so by this point, we've made space for more aspects of ourselves. It tends to be a lot of crying on Saturday evening. I tend to go through almost every single time my process of like, am I pushing people too hard? Is this too much? Like my own doubts come up every single time. Very important to know this. And it always happens on Saturday evening. Because there's a lot of people there, and some people are going through like really intense experiences, and then there's other people who are going through like no experience at all. So I'm trying to hold like, okay, how can I make this deep enough so that that person has something, and how can I make sure like this person who I know is in a very raw state feels like they can step out of it, is not overloaded. And that's an ongoing dance. But talking about trauma beforehand on the first night or the first morning, and like really empowering people to set boundaries around experiences if they're uncomfortable, can help with that a lot. And for them to know that this is normal, like it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It's just part of things being integrated and healed. So I know going into Saturday evening, and this would be true with an online retreat as well, or any multi-day retreat, that we did a lot of practice, we opened up a lot, and usually people are just like in a very open state, and they can feel now like, ooh, like how am I going to go back into my life? Like I opened up a lot. I didn't know I was signing up for this. Really, I thought I was just going to be present and mindful and savor the good in my life. And now this guy is like having me feed my demons and going into my shadows. Like, what is going on? But if they've made it through to that point, like they're there, and they are often in like a very receptive and very present place. Like something in them has decompensated enough to hold more of themselves. And so Sunday morning, I do like a letting go meditation, something that has them visualize releasing what hasn't been serving them, and beginning to feel as though they're stepping into like an empowered version of like what they're trying to move into. And so that might not necessarily be like a mindfulness meditation, but it's supportive of the practice. And that is a 7:30 a.m. meditation on Sunday morning, which is a half hour, 7:30 to 8. And then we go to breakfast, and then the next session is 9:30 to 12 p.m. And during that session, this is where I focus more on the good. So orienting, like more of the Rick Hansen type stuff, enriching positive experience, inclining the mind toward what is good in your life, seeing that is there. I don't like to do that prematurely, because I just find like so many people come in with those ideas of meditation being that way. And for most people, like the biggest benefit they'll get is that if they actually just make space for the parts of themselves that are painful. So the first like half of the retreat is really devoted to just making space for whatever wants to arise, and then some intentionally going into the more painful stuff in the evening. And important just to acknowledge again, I'm going to harp on this, that not everyone likes that. Like people don't like having their triggers pushed. And again, it's a balance. Like how much of this do you reveal in the retreat schedule on the landing page? Like say like, hey, we're going to go into like potentially re-experience or going into like uncomfortable aspects of yourself. It's like, it's one thing to read that on a website, and it's another thing to do that on like the second night of a retreat where you have all of this other support around why we're doing it. That it's a balance. But I have had people that say like, I don't like this. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't get why I have to do this. And it leads to good conversation. It becomes a big learning, and almost always those people at the end have the most transformative experience and are most grateful for it. So just know, like, as you're navigating this, you've experienced this yourself, like in your own practice and maybe on your own retreats, that it brings up a lot for you. And sometimes when you feel uncomfortable, the defense mechanism is to say like, this is dumb. I don't like this. I don't trust this teacher. So know that that's what we can be working with.
We provide you with the certification and the credentials you need to teach mindfulness in professional settings. I invite you to check out our webpage at teach.mindfulnessexercises.com to learn more about the program, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside.